This video is going to go with the assignment that says Pythagorean theorem, right triangle or not. In this video, what is going to happen is they're going to give you triangles that have the measurement of all three sides given. What we have to do is be able to decide if that triangle is a right triangle or it could be an obtuse or acute. Okay, just because it looks like a right triangle doesn't mean the numbers are going to make a right triangle. Okay, you remember in 7th grade when you did triangle inequality and you looked at whether the three numbers they gave you made a triangle at all, or if one side was too short or too long to work? Well, that's the same thing here. The three numbers will make a triangle, but we don't know for sure whether it's a right triangle or an acute triangle or an obtuse triangle. Okay, now we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out whether we have right triangles or not. Now I want to go back and let's just discuss a few pieces of information that we know. Let me get a clean piece of paper here. 1. We know the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equal to c squared, okay? And we know if we have a right triangle right here, that A and B are the legs. Those are the two sides that make the right angle. We know that C right here is the hypotenuse. Now, there is a characteristic of C that we've not talked a whole lot about yet, but it is important for us today. C, the hypotenuse, is always the longest side. Well, if it is the longest side, that means then that it is going to be the largest number. Okay, so that means A and B have to be the numbers that are smaller. Okay, I always kind of think of like in drinks, fountain drinks, you have a small, medium, and a large. So the small and the medium numbers are your A and B. C, your largest number. Okay, now let's look at some examples because all I want to do was take our assignment and we're going to work 4 of these problems together, and then I'm going to have you complete the other 10. So if I look at problem number 1, I see the numbers 5, 12, and 13. I also notice that with this right triangle, it's really obvious that right here is my right angle. Okay, so I can definitely say that I know that 5 and 12 are A and B, and that the 13 is going to be my C. Okay, so what we're going to do to decide if this is a right triangle or not is we're going to go to our Pythagorean theorem. Okay, now we're told our numbers are 5, 12, and 13 in the picture. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now notice up here, I wrote them smallest to largest, okay? I'm just going to let the smallest number be A, the medium number be B, and the larger number be C, okay? Now, this is an equation that may be visually helpful for you if you put in the river right here, if you want to. Now, if I substitute the 5 and the 12 in for the A and the B, I'm going to have 5 squared plus 12 squared. Okay? Now, we know from my other lessons that I could do this by hand, but I can use my calculator right here. So I'm going to turn my calculator on, clear it off. Now, I'm going to type in 5 squared plus 12 squared equal to 169. So what I'm going to do is write 169 right there. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over to the other side of the equation, and I'm going to figure out the c square stuff. Okay, so over here, C is 13 because that's my largest number. So I'm going to put 13 squared. Now, if I come back to my calculator and I type in 13 squared, I get 169. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. Now, what is this telling me? Well, what I do know now is that A squared plus B squared comes out to be 169. C squared comes out to be 169. Since both sides are equal to each other, what I know is this is definitely a right triangle. If these two numbers right here would have been different numbers, then it would not have made a right triangle. Okay? Now, let's look at another one that is a right triangle. Okay? So let's look at number 2. Okay? I'm going to go back to my paper right here. And number 2, if I look at my numbers, now it's kind of funny looking and it's kind of turned around different and it doesn't have the right angle marked. But if I look at my numbers I've got there are 33. Blow it up so you can see it on your phone if you're looking. You've got 33, 56, and 65. So if I put those in order from smallest to largest, okay, what I'm going to write down right here is 33, 56, and what was that other one? 65. Okay. Now, I'm going to write my formula under here. A squared plus B squared equal to C squared. Now, I'm going to let the 33 be A, the 56 be my B, and 65 be my C. Okay. So, next line would be 33 squared plus 56 squared equal to 65 squared. Now, again, a lot of you like the river to show that you've actually got two sides going on at the same time. Now, I'm going to grab that calculator again right here, and I'm going to put in my 33 squared plus 56 squared. Okay? So 33 squared plus 56 squared. And that's equal to 4,225. So I'm going to take my calculator up and I'm going to write that down right here. 4,225. Now, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do 65 squared. So put my calculator back down right here. 65 squared. Oh, look, it's 4,225. So the left side, that A squared plus B squared, came out to be the exact same number as the right side. So since the two sides are equal, I know this is not only just a triangle, but it has to be a right triangle. Okay, now sometimes you may just write the word yes. Okay, if it says, is this a triangle or not, you can just say yes or no. Okay, now the next one I want to look at is number 3. Okay, so let's go over to our paper. Let's look at our triangle and let's find our 3 numbers. Our 3 numbers are 58, 55, and 65. So I'm going to write those in order. 48, 55, and 65. Yeah, make sure did I write those down correctly? Yes. I always double check, make sure you copy correctly. Now, A squared plus B squared equal to C squared. And put in my river right here. Now, let's we're just speeding this process up a little bit because I'm going to put in, slide this over. You can see it. Now I'm going to put in the 40. Oh, I didn't write it down, did I? Let's write it in. 48 squared plus 55 squared. Okay. Now let's put that into our calculator. 48 squared plus 55 squared equal to 5,329. So I'm going to write that right here. 5,329. Now, on the other side, I have 65 squared. So if I take my calculator right here and I type in 65 squared, I don't get the same answer. I got 4,225. Now look right here what happened. The left side's simplified answer and the right side's answer do not match each other. So what this means is this is not a right triangle. Okay, it is not a right triangle. When these two sides do not equal the same number, yeah, it could be a triangle, but it's not a right triangle. We know that it's either going to be an acute or an obtuse triangle. Okay, now let's try one more. And I'm going to skip number 4 for the moment, and I'm going to go to number 5. So number 5 right here, let's look at our paper and let's find our points. All right, so our numbers on number 5, putting them in order from smallest to largest, is going to be 40, 75, and 76. So 40, 75, and 76. Now, a squared plus b squared equal to c squared. Okay, and if you want to, again, we can put in that river right here to separate the two sides. Now, over here, I'm going to have 40 squared plus 75 squared. Okay, so I'm going to come right here and type in 40 squared plus 75 squared. I come up with 7,225. Okay, now on the other side over here, I'm going to have 76 squared. So if I take my calculator and I type in 76 squared, I'm going to get 5,776. So I'm going to write that down. Now look right here. Look what happened. These two numbers are different again. So again, this one means that is not a right triangle. Okay. Now, every time they give you 3 numbers and ask you, can it make a right triangle? This is all you're going to do. You're going to take your 3 numbers, you're going to put them in order from smallest to largest, and then substitute them into a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Then you're going to simplify the left side to an answer. You're going to simplify the right side to an answer. Use order of operations if you need to, but I just use a calculator. Okay. Once you get those 2 answers, compare them. Are they the same? If they are, then you have right triangles. If they are different on both sides, then we know they're not a right triangle. Okay. Now your assignment is to complete the rest of this sheet. That gives you 10 to work independently, showing your work in level 5 quality, just like I've modeled for you right here.